Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is, another Wednesday, and today's video is a video for the people. It's a video for the people. It's all for you. This is for you, for the people. And it's about the survival of human life on Earth. Not specifically the survival of life, although that's part of it. The survival of human life on Earth depends on this. So pay close attention. Pay close attention to this video because the survival of human life on Earth depends on this. And that subject is soil erosion. Soil erosion? What a strange subject. What does this have to do with the survival of life on Earth? Everything. Okay? Soil erosion has to do with everything. All life on Earth. Okay? And even the oceans, because as you know, soil erosion is causing the oceans to have dead zones. And it's killing coral reefs, and it's killing plankton, and it's killing the whole ecosystem in the oceans. There's dead zones around each of the major rivers where the inlets are into the ocean. There's dead zones from all of the runoff, all of the pollution, all the pesticides, herbicides, especially the fertilizers and soil amendments. The fertilizers and soil amendments are causing an overgrowth of algae, which kills everything in its path. It kills everything in the ocean that's alive, like fish or sea plants. Everything dies because of the high levels of fertilizer. So this is a problem. And why is soil erosion occurring? Well, the best way to answer that question for yourself as to why soil erosion is occurring is to watch the movie The Need to Grow. The Need to Grow is a movie about our soil, which sustains plants, which sustains animals, including humans. So all life depends on the soil. And the soil is being eroded at a fantastic rate due to modern farming practices. It's us again. It's us. It's the humans and our interference with the environment. We are causing the soil erosion. In the last 40 years, just the last 40 years of modern intensive farming practices, we've lost 1/3 of our soil. And at the rate we're going with our modern farming practices, pretty soon there's going to be no soil left. Within 60 years is all we have until all human life is exterminated due to a lack of farming soil. Okay, within 60 years we're going to lose all our farmable topsoil, and then human life will be extinct if it continues at the same rate as it currently is. Now, I have a friend named Judy, and she is not convinced. She says that she won't be convinced by one movie or one article or one book. That's going to take a whole slew of books and articles on the same subject, on the subject of soil erosion, for her to be convinced. That she isn't convinced by one. She needs many. And there's not going to be many books and movies and articles on soil erosion because it's just not an interesting topic. There's only one movie right now, and that's The Need to Grow. And if you want to see it, go ahead and see it. It's free today only, okay? Today only, it's free. It won't be free tomorrow. You'll have to pay for it, but you can still see it. But today only, it's free. So if you want to see it now. But Judy is not convinced. And as far as the environmental crisis goes, as far as climate change and the rainforest, she says that she can't do anything. She can't do anything. She's powerless. That she can only hope and pray that people in positions of power will make a change for the better. And she doesn't even want to educate herself on what those changes are. She won't even watch the movie at my request. She won't even watch the movie. She just wants them to make the requisite changes and hope and pray they do. And she won't educate herself on what those changes are, or even try to make a personal change for the better to improve things and to improve the situation on planet Earth. She's a part of this Earth, but she continues to erode the soil. Now, what erodes the soil that we do personally? What could we possibly be doing that's eroding the soil? Well, one thing we can do is eat organic, okay? Because inorganic farming, which we call conventional farming, inorganic farming that uses inorganic fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides and tills the soil very thoroughly until the soil is as fine as cake flour. That's how fine the soil gets. It gets as fine as cake flour. And then it runs off into the rivers and oceans. Well, that method of farming, conventional farming, is destroying the earth. It's destroying the earth, and it's destroying the soil. And the soil is rapidly eroding. Inorganic fertilizers like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium go into the soil, and they kill off the microbes. They kill off the soil microbes in droves. Okay, it changes the soil pH and the microbes in the soil completely, and it kills off a bunch of the beneficial microbes. And in a piece of soil the size of your pinky finger, there's billions of microbes. And these microbes maintain the soil structure, and they make the soil alive, and they enrich the soil. Without the microbes, the plants can't get nutrients, they can't take nutrients up from the soil, and our food is not only is our food less nutritious, but also without the microbes, the soil can't hold water, it can't contain water. One of the results is flooding, which we're all familiar with, horrible floods. That's from the soil not being able to hold water. And this water makes the soil run down. Without microbes to hold the soil in place, the water sucks up the soil, and it just runs right down into the drain, into the river, into the lake, into the ocean. It runs away without the microbes. So the microbes hold the soil in place, they give the soil structure, and there's also some sort of mushroom-related fungus in the soil. It's a myco something or the other, and it makes the structure of the soil, holds the soil in place so it doesn't erode and run off. So two things that fungus and the microbes keep the soil in its structure and hold it in place. One of the contributors to rich soil is worms, earthworms. They produce microbes inside of them, not produce, but grow microbes inside of them. and they eat soil, and they poop. The worms poop, and they poop out microbes. So they're microbe producers. So there's many ways to enrich soil. Okay, one is with organic fertilizers and soil amendments, things that like they talked about biochar in the movie, and they talked about algae. Those are two significant, but there's others. There's other sources of organic fertilizer, just compost, scraps from food, and leftovers, things that will biodegrade like paper, can be used to fertilize soil. It can be composted and rotted and then used as a soil amendment. So there's many things we can do to build up our soil again. And someday I personally predict, they didn't mention this in the movie because it's not feasible right now, but I predict someday they will dredge the oceans for fertilizer. Now the oceans are very polluted now. There's many heavy metals in the ocean, and the oceans are polluted, but someday we're going to have to dredge the oceans for fertilizer, even though they're polluted. And then we're just going to have to suck up all those pollutants, because there's not going to be any more soil left, and they'll have to come up with soil from somewhere, and they're going to have to dredge the oceans for its soil. So that's that conclusion. That's one potential path. But for now, for the time being, when it's not feasible to dredge the oceans for fertilizer, we're going to have to keep the soil from eroding as well as we can, as best we can, because we only have 60 years of topsoil left, and once the topsoil is gone, we can't farm anymore. So we have to maintain that topsoil no matter what. And erosion is a natural process. Yes, it rains and the soil erodes all the time, but very little, very, very little. For thousands of years, even millions of years, the topsoil's maintained itself, and animal life on Earth has been sustained. It's only with modern agriculture that our topsoil is eroding. And one of the biggest things that erodes topsoil is animal agriculture, because 80% of the farmable land in the United States is being used to grow crops to feed animals, for animal agriculture, for food animals. And food animals include chickens that lay eggs, and chickens that are broiler chickens that people eat, and cows for milking, and dairy, and cows for beef. And the dairy cows are the beef cows anyway, because they grind them up for hamburgers. So it's all part of the cycle. And 80% of that land is going to feed animals for food, for humans. So just imagine if we all went vegan, or at least went vegan even one day a week, or at least 6 days a week, and had meat once a week. How much we could save, how much land we could save, how much space we could save, how many hungry people we can feed. The population keeps going up because of our pharmacies and our doctors who have cured these incurable diseases, these infectious diseases, and the life expectancy keeps going up, and our population keeps going up because nobody's dying. So we have a lot more mouths to feed and less soil to do it with. Terrible, right? I mean, you're thinking we're not going to have enough soil to feed the world's hungry population, and we're not even going to be able to feed ourselves and our families anymore. It's a terrible situation. So we have to fix the soil. And the way to do that is with no-till organic farming. And Rodale is a pioneer, Rodale. Rodale is a pioneer in no-till organic farming. And it's not completely no-till. You do grind up the soil a little bit to get the seeds in, but it's mostly no-till. I mean, there's a cover crop, and the cover crop is pushed down by a crimper that kills the plants, but it doesn't erode their roots. It leaves the roots in place. So the crimper crimps the cover crop, and then a little attachment on the back of the tractor makes a row for the seeds to go in. And there's a lot less soil erosion. A lot less. Way less. So this is another thing that will help the soil that I've read about. And so no-till organic, that's what you want to go for. So if you buy organic, you're making a good first step. It might be hard to find out whether they use no-till or not, because organic farming isn't necessarily no-till. But a lot of organic farmers have adopted no-till, so look for no-till if you can. And a good way to find out is to write to the companies that make the products that you eat every day. If they're organic, write to them and ask them, do you use no-till farming? And if so, and if not, would you be willing to consider switching to no-till farming? So educate yourself. In fact, it would be nice for us to make a list of all the companies that use no-till farming or employ no-till farming or minimal tilling. Minimal tilling, just enough tilling as necessary. Tilling as the earth is necessary, but not constantly tilling it and tilling the soil until it's as fine as cake powder. We don't want that. Cake flour, I guess. We don't want that. One of the results of modern agriculture was the Dust Bowl. I think the Dust Bowl was in the 1920s or 1930s, and it was threatening people's lives. People were choking on clouds of dust. Well, that could happen again with a drought, which could happen very easily with climate change. So climate change plus the soil erosion problem could create another Dust Bowl very easily right now, at this point in history. So that's the summary. Go see The Need to Grow. The Need to Grow. It's free just today. Just look up the Need to Grow movie on Google, and it should pop right up, and they'll offer you to see it free just for today only. And it's worth seeing. It's a very good movie. It doesn't cover everything. Like I said, it doesn't cover no-till farming in detail like I did. It doesn't mention Rodale. It doesn't mention composting in detail. They do mention composting, but not in detail. But it does mention these new soil amendments, the algae, which is more a concentrated source of fuel than gasoline, and biocarbon, biocarb or biocarbon. I don't know which they call it. Biocarb. It's or wait, is it? I think it's no, it's not. Yeah, I think it's biocarb, but it's carbon that's made from trash. They actually recycle trash and old wood and burn it until it becomes like charcoal. Oh, biochar is what they call it, biochar. And then they use it as a fertilizer, as a soil amendment. And the process of burning the biochar produces electricity, which they use to power greenhouses. So it's a whole system. They produce the algae from the energy from the biochar. The algae produce methane that feeds the reaction of the biochar. The biochar and algae are used as fertilizers in the greenhouses, and the electricity that's generated is used to make the algae and power the greenhouses. So it's a whole system. It's a whole system for producing plants and producing food. So go see the movie. It's online and it's free right now. It's The Need to Grow. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf signing off. Remember, the fate of the world is in your hands. We don't want billions of people to starve to death. So now's the time to begin supporting your organic farmers so they stay in business, so that we have a future generation for our loved ones.